Unoka, your flute prevents you from doing more productive things.
Please don't take my flute. It's all I have.
Ugh! I've brought Cola Nut. Unoka, I have come to ask you to repay your debt to me.
Each line on the wall represents 100 calories I'm in debt to someone. I will repay you, but not today.
Very well then. Enjoy your life as a coward and a debtor. Unoka, you must stop drinking. Keep this up and you will die a coward's death in the evil forest.
When you were here before, couldn't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world.
No fool, the dark is an enemy. The most vile of creatures are even more vile in the dark. Were it a moonlit night, many would be out there. When the moon is shining, the cripple becomes hungry for a walk, as they say. Hear, hear! Hear, hear! All men are to go to the marketplace tomorrow morning. We have something to discuss. That's strange. What could be amiss? They wouldn't have called this late in the night were it not something important. Ah yes, now this is what I need. Rest. But I can't help but wonder, what could be amiss? Maybe there will be war? Unlike my loathsome father, I am ready for war. Ha! Yes, that reminds me of my fifth head. I came back with it in our latest war and drank from it at a funeral. Where did I put that? I shall look for that later. Here finally. I had a slow start this morning. Umofia Glenu! Umofia Glenu! Umofia Glenu! Umofia Glenu! Umofia Glenu! Thank you. Now I realize that our time is extremely valuable, so I will try to make this brief, but solo. A daughter of our people was killed in Umbino upon entering the market there. What filth. Which is why we must send somebody to Umbino to warn them that they have a choice. Either they send a boy and a virgin to us as compensation, or war is upon them. Would you excuse me for just one moment to think? No, not that way. There's too much noise over there. Well, it's not as if war is a likely possibility. We have the best medicine and the best men. Although... Although maybe Maybe this is a rash action, and the Oracle does not permit rash actions. Perhaps we just take the 2 citizens, and we avoid war. Your people have wronged us, and now you belong to us. You must come with me. That is a real yam. You two! You call this work that you're doing? You call yourself my ally? You disgrace me. The both of you!
Son. Father, I'm trying as hard as I can.
Then you shall continue to try as hard as you can until such a time as your death! Or such a time as I get my yams. Now you are Camathona! Doing well. I mean, passively. Do not fail me. You know of my father, do you not? Noi, you are listening as well? Good. My father was a lazy man who never pulled his own weight. And you know how he died? He died with that being all he was ever remembered as. Ill, lazy, weak, and a burden. Do you want that to be your future? Well, I don't.
One would think he never sucked at his mother's breast. I do not agree. I think women's problems are equally important to those of men. This meeting is for men. Those whose palm kernels were cracked for them, a benevolent spirit should not forget to be humble. I apologize. These people do not understand my struggles. Okonku, you are the strongest in the 9 villages. We need you to take a message of war to the other village. And so Okonku and his bodyguards walked to the other village to demand a boy and a virgin. Come back here. I miss my family. I'm leaving. I wish I could see my mother and sister right now. You can't catch me. Yes, I will. I'm happy that Nwaya is having fun with this strong boy. Hurry up, son. We will be late for the feast. I'm going as fast as I can, father. When will I go home? If I'm forced to waste another bowl of yams on you, I'll beat you with this stick. A while later. Where is Ojigo? She went to plait her hair. I'm here starving, and that woman is off, plaiting her hair. Where are her children? They are right here. Did she ask you to feed them before she went? Yes? Really? 1 hour later. Honey, I'm back. I can now cook for you, dear. Really? Don't beat her. She only forgot to cook for you. My wife, she was the one at fault here. Listen to me. If we anger the earth goddess, she shall not bless our plants, and we will all die. I know it is your wife at fault here, but even if you see her lover on top of her in your obi, you shall not beat her, for that would be sinning, no matter the crime. You will bring to the shrine of Annie tomorrow 1 she-goat, 1 hen, a length of cloth, and 100 cowries. The next day, Okonku had brought what was asked of him, and even brought a bottle of palm wine. I can't believe that I let myself break the peace. Old man, what happened to the people when they broke the peace in your time? It was in my father's time. A man would be dragged across the village until he died. How many people broke the peace in your time? Within my life, there have only been 2 people who have broken the peace. Where do we put the yams? Right there, and take 1 each to prepare. Okay. Do you think you're cutting up yams for cooking? I will not have a son who cannot hold his head up in the gathering of the clan. I would sooner strangle him with my own hands. And that is why the hare lost the race. Oh, I'd never thought about it that way. The rain is falling. The sun is shining. Alone Nanadi is cooking and eating. I wonder who this Nanadi is, and why is he always alone?
The feast of the new yam was approaching, and Umuofia was in a festive mood. But somehow Okonkwo could never become as enthusiastic over feasts as most people. He would be much happier working on his farm. The festival was only 3 days away. Okonkwo wandered about, filled with suppressed anger, until finally he found an outlet.
Ekwefi, come here. Who killed this banana tree? Ekwefi.
Calm down. I just cut a few leaves to wrap some food in.
What do you mean? You've killed it, you foolish woman. I, Okonkwo, mighty patriarch, am going hunting.
A gun that never finds its mark is a gun that never shoots.
Many years ago, Ekwefi had been the village beauty.
Hello.
Hello. He's so strong, so manly.
Hello, Ekwefi.
Hello.
But then...
I'm leaving you for a Okonkwo.
What? No, you can't. Ekwefi.
Hello.
Hello.
All this was many years ago, and Ekwefi was now a woman of 40 who had seen many hardships.
Mother, the wrestling is starting. I hear the drums.
No, Azinma. The wrestling will not be until this evening.
Oh,
She's a good girl, Azinma. What a shame. She should have been a boy.
the whole village turned out on the Elo, men, women, and children. They stood round in a huge circle, leaving the center of the playground free. The elders and grandees of the village sat on their own stools, brought there by their young sons or slaves. Okonkwo was among them. All others stood except those who came early enough to secure places on the few stands which had been built by placing smooth logs on forked pillars. The wrestlers were not there yet, and the drummers held the field. They too sat just in front of the huge circle of spectators, facing the elders. And clapped. The drums rose to a frenzy. The people surged forward. The young men who kept order flew around, waving their palm fronds. Old men nodded to the beat of the drums and remembered the days when they wrestled to its intoxicating rhythm. The contest began with boys of 15 or 16. There were only 3 such boys in each team. They were not the real wrestlers, they merely set the scene. Within a short time, the first 2 bouts were over, but the third created a big sensation even among the elders who did not usually show their excitement so openly. It was as quick as the other 2, perhaps even quicker, but very few people had ever seen that kind of wrestling before. As soon as the 2 boys closed in, one of them did something which no one could describe because it had been as quick as a flash, and the other boy was flat on his back. Okonkwo sprang to his feet and then quickly sat down again. The air, which had been stretched taut with excitement, relaxed again. It was as if the water had been poured on the tightened skin of a drum. Many people looked around, perhaps for the first time, and saw those who stood or sat next to them. Drummers took up their sticks, and the air shivered and grew tense like a tightened bow. There were 12 men on each side, and the challenge went from one side to the other. 2 judges walked around the wrestlers, and when they thought they were equally matched, stopped them. 5 matches ended this way. The really exciting moments were when a man was thrown. The huge voice of the crowd then rose into the sky and in every direction. It was even heard in the surrounding villages. The last match was between the leaders of the teams. They were among the best wrestlers in all the 9 villages. The crowd wondered who would throw the other this year. Some said Okafu was the better man, others said he was not the equal of Ikuzu. Last year neither of them had thrown the other, even though the judges had allowed the contest to go on longer than was the custom. They had the same style, and each one saw the other's plans beforehand. It might happen again this year. Ikuzu held out his right hand. Okafu seized it, and they closed in. It was a fierce contest. Ikuzu strove to dig his right heel behind Okafu so as to pitch him backwards in the clever Eje style, but the one knew what the other was thinking. The crowd had surrounded and swallowed up the drummers, whose frantic rhythm was no longer a mere disembodied sound, but the very heartbeat of the people. The wrestlers were now almost still in each other's grip. The muscles on their arms and their thighs and on their backs stood out and twitched. It looked like an equal match. The two judges were already moving forward to separate them when Ikuzu, now desperate, went down quickly on one knee in an attempt to fling his man backwards over his head. It was a sad miscalculation. Quick as the lightning of Amadora, Okafu raised his right leg and swung it over his rival's head. The crowd burst into a thunderous roar. Okafu was swept off his feet by his supporters and carried home shoulder high. They sang his praise, and the young women clapped their hands.
For 3 years, Ikemefuna lived in Okonkwo's household, growing rapidly like a yam tendril in the rainy seasons, full of the sap of life. He had become like a son to Okonkwo and an older brother to Nwoye. Together, the three of them bonded as Okonkwo told the two tales of the land, masculine stories of violence and bloodshed. He even let them help with difficult and manly tasks such as splitting wood and harvesting the yams.
Nwoye, are you cutting up yams for cooking? If I ever catch you cutting up yams like that, I shall break your jaw!
Okonkwo had grown quite fond of Ikemefuna, and would never have thought that one day he'd be taken away from him. Okonkwo was enjoying a meal with his sons when Ogbuefi Ezedu came through the door. Ogbuefi Ezedu was the oldest man in this quarter of Umuofia, and he was highly respected.
Ogbuefi, please come join us at the table.
No, Okonkwo, there are more pressing matters to be attended to. We shall speak by the doorway. I am sorry, Okonkwo, but Umuofia has decided to kill Ikemefuna. They will take him outside Umuofia, as is the custom, and kill him there.
But no!
The boy calls you father, Okonkwo, and therefore you shall have nothing to do with his death. Later that day, Okonkwo called Ikemefuna.
I shall take you home the next day.
Ikemefuna was at a loss. His own home had gradually become very faint and distant. He still missed his mother and his sister and would be very glad to see them. But somehow he knew he was not going to see them ever again. The next morning, a group of men came into the Obi, dressed as if they were going to a clan meeting. They took Ikemefuna and Okonkwo with them, and set off into the forest. As they were walking, they were talking about everyday things, the locusts and the woman. However, as they approached the forest, everyone got silent. The men kept on walking. Ikemefuna was scared at first, but then saw that Okonkwo was behind him and felt safer. Suddenly, they all stopped, as one of the men raised a machete over his head and drawed it down upon Ikemefuna.
My father! They have killed me!
Okonkwo did not want to seem weak, and so he delivered the final blow that would end Ikemefuna's life.
Why did I do it? Ikemefuna was a good child. He was helping mold the boy into a strong man, but now he is gone. What is the plan to make me do this? I have not eaten in days. I shall ask Ekwefi to make me something, and I will have a clearer mind. Ekwefi, roast me some plantain.
Father, you have not eaten in 2 days, so you must finish these.
She should have been a boy. Hello, Konku. I am having my daughter Suto over today, and I am hoping to agree on a bride price. I would like for you to be there.
Hello, Konku.
Hello. Come and shake hands with me. Your rustling the other day had brought me great happiness. He will do great things. If I had a son like him, I would be happy.
I can't see anything. Can you please turn on the oil lamp, Enzima? That's better. Now I can see your face. How's your bitter leaf soup? Oh, it's very good. That oil lamp keeps burning out. I got it. Okay, Akwefi, it's your turn to tell a story tonight. All right. All the birds were invited to have a feast in the sky. Tortoise saw all these preparations for the feast, and he was dying to know. He hadn't eaten in 2 moons. We know you too well. You are ungrateful, and if you come, you will soon begin your mischief. You do not know me. I am a changed man. I have learned that a man who makes trouble for others is also making it for himself. The birds agreed that he was a changed man, and they gave him a feather with which he made a wing. The birds and the tortoise flew up into the sky. At the feast like this, we take new names for the occasions. Everybody will do it. They all took a new name. Tortoise was Aloju. When everybody was about to eat, Tortoise asked the host who the feast was for, and he said, "For all of you." The tortoise reminded the birds that his name was Aloju. When he was done, the birds were so angry that they took his wing away from him. Tortoise had no way of getting down, so he fell down, 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 and cracked his shell wide open. And that is why the tortoise shell is... Good night, Enzima. Good night, Akwefi.
Agbula ju, agbula kinu, akinu, agbula chulu, fudaya daya, zenemu.
Sheila, what are you doing here?
Agbala wanted to see you. I'm taking you to the cave. I think I hear your mother following us.
Meanwhile, Okonkwo has been following them the whole time.
Don't be foolish. I thought you were going to the shrine with Chilo. Go home and sleep. I shall wait here.
I shall wait too. It is almost dawn and the first cock has crowed.
All right, children. Today is my friend of Yerka's daughter's Yaoi. My wives are already in the front of our compound, waiting to go. We must leave at once. Okay, let's go to Onirika's compound. Children, slow down. Children, wait for me. Come on, Okonkwo. We are already at Onirika's compound. Can't you run any faster? Okay, fine.
I hope our in-laws will bring many pots of wine, although they come from a village that is known for being closeted they ought to. Know that a kiri is the bride for a king.
They dare not bring fewer than 30 pots. I shall tell them my mind if they do. Look at this goat! That is the way things should be done.
We are giving you our daughter today. She will be a good wife to you. She will bear you 9 sons like the mother of our town.
It will be good for you and it will be good for us. And this will not be the last, because you understand us and we understand you. You are a great family. Prosperous men and great warriors. Your daughter will bear us sons like you.
Igudo of the Yellow Grinding Stone! Ezwedu is dead!
It was a great funeral, such as befitted a noble warrior. As the evening drew near, the beating of drums and the brandishing and clanging of machetes increased. Izudu was a great man, and so all the clan was at his funeral. It was a warrior's funeral, and from morning till night the warriors came and went in their age groups.
Ezwedu, if you had been poor in your last life, I would have asked you to be rich when you come again, but you were rich. If you had been a coward, I would have asked you to bring courage, but you were a fearless warrior. If you had died young, I would have asked you to get life, but you lived long. So I shall ask you to come again the way you came before. If your death was the death of nature, go in peace, but if a man caused it, do not allow him a moment's rest.
Guns fired the last salute, and the cannon rent the sky. And then from the center of the delirious fury came a cry of shouts of horror. It was the dead man's 16-year-old son. Okonkwo's gun had exploded, and a piece of iron had pierced the boy's heart.
It was a crime against the Earth Goddess to kill a clansman, and a man who committed it must flee from the land. He collected his most valuable belongings into headloads. His wives wept bitterly, and their children wept with them, without knowing why.
As soon as day broke, a large crowd of men from Zudu's quarters stormed Okonkwo's compound. They set fire to his houses, demolished his red walls, killed his animals, and destroyed his barn. It was the justice of the Earth Goddess, and they were merely her messengers.